Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the 6 year banter. So, yeah, my match reaction to the game between Manchester United versus Chelsea yesterday was me venting my frustration and disappointment without having to give context or having to talk more on everything that went on in the game yesterday. And so, today, I want us to have a conversation as regards everything that went on in the game from the sloppiness at the back for the Chelsea defense line to Maresca's choice in substitutions and lineup and everything. So why don't you guys stick around as we dive into it? So Chelsea decided to start with Sanchez in goal, the back four of Rhys James, surprisingly Wesley Fofana, Trevor Chalobah, and Marco Kurela. Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo in the midfield with Pedro Neto, Cole Palmer, Estevao Willian, and Joao Pedric in the attacking four. While Manchester United lined up in their usual back three, and Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro in the midfield, and the two wing back in Mazraoui and what I'm always forgetting the other guy, the left back's name that plays the wing back, the left wing back for Manchester United, with front three of Amadialu, Benjamin Sesko, and Brian Mbeumo. So yeah, when the game started, from the first whistle, it felt like it was really rainy. It was really having a heavy downpour. I mean, the rain, and I don't know whether that's one of the things that caused the sloppiness in Chelsea's play, but no, we could see that there were lapses in concentration right from the get go, and like the players were struggling to communicate or some communicate overall. You could see sloppy control, rushed passes, and frantic defendings at times. But I don't think, like I said, I don't think the rain is the reason why they were sloppy. Okay, the truth of the matter is that Chelsea yesterday in the game were undisciplined and they paid for it. Both teams made mistakes. Okay, but Chelsea's lack of composure in those opening exchanges cost us the rhythm we wanted. Now, 5 minutes into the game, Sanchez goes for he goes for a tackle on Brian Mbeumo like it was in a Mortal Kombat tournament or something, and then gets a red card. That single moment rewrites the script, and everything changed the whole momentum and plan for the game. It just changes everything. Okay, and then Chelsea was already down to 10 men. Maresca has to reshuffle immediately, and United smelled blood. They smelled blood because, first off, it was very obvious. It was obvious and as glaring as day that Chelsea, besides the red card, there was just so much lapses in concentration. Like they were struggling. Okay, and I think United took note of it and went for the kill. The red card left Chelsea playing catch up for a large part of the game. You can argue about the severity of the tackle, and I've just recently watched the game again, and I saw that Sanchez, his leg kind of touched the ball first and then went on to touch Brian Mbeumo. And I don't know if it's me, but if that's the case, I feel like that should not even be a red card. I mean, there are a lot of things that went on in the game yesterday, but that's my first observation having rewatched the game again. Okay, the red card left Chelsea playing catch up for a large part of the game, and you can argue about the severity of the tackle, but the referee's decision was already the defining moment. Then Bruno Fernandes opens the scoring after a VAR check allowed the goal, and the review decided that the play didn't interfere with Chaluba's position. And then this is my issue with VAR. They are so inconsistent. I mean, it's really, really becoming unbecoming. Now, when you say a player interferes with the play even without touching the ball, it means that the player must have made a move or an approach to the ball, which was what happened in the box yesterday before the ball found Bruno Fernandes. It was supposed to be an off. Why? And I'll try as much as possible to break it. I've already just explained that when a ball is ruled offside, even without being touched or coming in contact, okay, when a player of the same team makes a move towards the ball or approaches the ball, even if he misses the ball, the fact that he already made a move towards the ball rules him offside. Now, there was a player right in front of Chaluba. Then Chaluba was behind the player then before Bruno Fernandes. The player and Chaluba attacked the ball, and the guy missed it before the ball found its way to Bruno Fernandes, and then he kicks the ball into the net. Automatically, it's supposed to be an off. Why the referee decided not to touch on that and decide to focus on the standing foot of Trevor Chalobah and Bruno Fernandes still beats me. Because VAR is supposed to ensure that everyone in the back line are either guilty or free of the offense of the offside. And the fact that the player made a move to the ball makes him in an offside, puts him in an offside position. Why VAR did not touch on that still beats me till now. Okay, fans, I believe fans will also have to will agree with me on this because it's clear offside. Okay, you can clearly see players in pockets that feels like interferences. Okay, and that's the problem with VR's interpretation. It's just so inconsistent. Many of us thought that there was enough to rule it out, and it was just enough to rule it out. The decision, it just shifted the momentum even more to United's favor. Okay, and this was after a lengthy review, and taking all that time to have a review and for them not to touch on that just is still shocking. It's really, really shocking. Then Casemiro heads in United's second goal, and then in a twist picks up a yellow card right before the break. Yeah. So United was also down to 10 men, which makes it puts both teams on parity. Okay, game on again. But you expect that Chelsea will take advantage of the numerical parity. But no, we didn't. We decided to make a move when it was already late. Now, this is where I get animated, and this is where my frustration comes in. Maresca made 3 substitutions inside 21 minutes. Straight after the red card, he had to reorganize, which is expected of him. But the order and the timing were just shocking. He brought in a goalkeeper to replace the red carded Robert Sanchez. Okay, and then Jorgensen was replacing Esteval William, and then he goes back to the goalpost. Now, this is my issue. I am not and then it takes off Neto to bring on Tosin. Please, can someone explain to me what the reason behind that is? It's just come out, or it came out on the post-match interview to say that he decided to bring on Tosin to match Man United's attack because they were attacking in a five or something. But man, you had to take off Neto, and Joao Pedro was all alone by himself. Shortly after that, we've discovered that Cole Palmer was not even 100% fit, and then Palmer had to come off for Andre Santos. Please, why in God's name would Maresca decide to two things, yeah? First off, Cole Palmer has been nursing an injury around his groin area for some time now, and then you decide to risk him. Some news outlets have just come out to confirm that Palmer has been playing through injections, which is risky because you can only make it more complicated. Why not put him out and allow him rest? Allow him the needed time, the time needed for him to recover, and so he can be the Palmer that we all know Palmer is. Why put a half Cole Palmer in the team, which obviously drags him or impedes him from doing what he does best? He's not going to be able to perform to the fullest, so why would you even risk it in the first place? It's wrong because Palmer was a large part of the attack. If you start him despite doubts about his fitness and then take him off in the first 20 minutes, you unsettle the front line. Then the Nico Pedro Neto substitution only just makes it worse. Okay, Tosin's switch also made us more conservative on the right. We effectively removed with an attacking speed too early. Okay, and then the Palmer question fits to it when you question the Palmer's fitness. Okay, we know that like I said, Palmer is class. Okay, and everything good that has happened in Chelsea has happened through him since he joined Chelsea. But the man he's had niggles for some time now. Starting him when he wasn't even fully fit is just wrong in all shades of it. He wasn't ready. Why not just bench him? Frankly, Buff also said the same thing. The Chelsea legend, why play a half Cole Palmer? The early substitution also took out the attacking outlet because, yeah, Palmer was out, Esteval was out, Neto was out. It was just Joao Pedro. And then in the second half, instead of bringing on Garnacho and Gittins, or Garnacho and McGee to inject some more energy and pace, he decides to bring on Tarek George and Malo Gusto. Malo Gusto, is this supposed to? Malo Gusto wasn't replacing Rhys James. Okay, I'm not. Malo Gusto had a fine game yesterday, no doubt. Okay, but it wasn't Malo Gusto that was supposed to come in. Garnacho and Gittins would have at least brought some more risk and more attacking impetus in the Chelsea front yesterday because it was already both teams were on par in terms of squad numbers, the numbers of players on the pitch at the time. It will be matching each other. So why you? Okay, why bringing on Malo Gusto to attack? It just feels like man doesn't trust the attacking options on the bench. Garnacho has been showing signs of improvement. I don't know. I can't say for Gittins, but my question is why did they have to recall McGui if they're not going to bother to use him at all? The boy is going to be feeling so unappreciated because he's supposed to be in Sunderland, probably leading the line. And then we recalled him only to sit on the bench. This is not the time for him to sit on the bench. This is the time for him to have game time, to play, so that he can grow and develop into the player that he's meant to be. Magui wasn't used. Garnacho wasn't used. Gittins wasn't used. He had more substitutions on the bench, and man decided to bring on Tyrick George and Malo Gusto. That just killed me, man. Really, really killed me. The way the subs were used yesterday just made me think Maresca was stinking in tactics yesterday. It wasn't. It felt like everything yesterday that happened just felt completely wrong. And then there was another incident of VAR called into question, called in to do the right thing for the penalty, the foul committed on João Pedro in the box 18. There was a big chance when Mazraoui clipped João Pedro, in the box. It's supposed to be a pen. The ref didn't even give it. He didn't even bother. And VAR did not even bother to intervene. And it just felt like whenever it comes to Chelsea, it just feels like there's an agenda on Chelsea. There's an agenda against Chelsea. It's no longer making sense, yeah? All in all, Maresca and Sanchez blew it yesterday. Now, it would have been better, it would have been best if Sanchez had even allowed Mbeumo to score the first goal. I am as sure as anything that we would have equalized and still won the game. But I don't know what he was thinking, whether he thought it was in a boxing game or maybe it was Tai Chi or Taekwondo or something. He went on all out for Anyway, yeah, well, even Manchester United legends Rooney also said yesterday that if you're a Chelsea fan, you want to see your team play with urgency. There was no urgency yesterday in the game coming from Chelsea. There was no urgency yesterday. Maresca needs to fix up, and it's not solely down to Maresca. Okay, I'm not going to completely blame him because these are the tools that he's been dealt to work with. If he had better tools, maybe. I don't think that this. I think Maresca is overperforming, and that's why they're expecting him. The sporting directors believe that he can do so much with this current crop of players. It cannot work. If Guardiola will not be the Guardiola he is today, no one will know Guardiola if Guardiola did not have good players to work with. Guardiola became known having players like Iniesta, Xavi, Thiago Alcantara. He also had Henry at some point. He also had Eto'o at some point. He also had Pedro Gonzalez at some point. He had good players, and those were players that helped Guardiola make the name that Guardiola has today. He moved on from Barcelona and went on to Bayern Munich and had players. He's left Bayern Munich and come down to Man City and was giving players like Kun Aguero, Prime Raheem Sterling, Riyad Mahrez, Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, and all that. These are top class, world class players. We have most of these players we have in the Chelsea team are players that we are banking on to become stars in the future. What about now? So the problem is, it's not all down on Maresca. However, Maresca's performance yesterday as a coach was a complete F. was a complete F in terms of game management, his late substitution, attacking options. Then we also have to talk about the VAR management, and then while the second goal where Casemiro scored, like, it just felt like the players did not even know where they were. And then you see Jorgensen, the ball was up in the air. You feel like Jorgensen would be able to come out and grab the ball. And then he was also ball watching. So I'm going to just wrap up with this. Bottom line, Sanchez messed up the game, getting a red card. But Maresca's reshuffle and tactics afterwards just killed everything. It just killed everything. So yeah, we got a consolation goal from a header from Trevor Chalobah, but I feel like if Maresca knew what he was doing yesterday, he would have brought on the remaining two attacking options in Garnacho. Garnacho would be willing, despite being we're already past, so it's not like we're one man down. Both teams were on par in terms of numbers of players on the field. Garnacho would have been buzzing to go if Gittins wasn't ready. Garnacho was ready, and then bring on McGuey to play up top, and then Joao Pedro just behind him or whatever. You have still given us more attacking options than just leaving Joao Pedro, and then you bring on Tyreek George, who's supposed to be leaving in January, who ought to have left the club. If there had not been issues in the final hours of the transfer window. It's just yesterday, just everything just fell somehow. I was really, really pissed yesterday, man. I was really, really pissed. Anyway, so if you like my breakdown, don't forget to comment, like, and follow. I'll see you all in the match review against Lincoln. And then the funny thing is that Sanchez is only going to be missing the game against Lincoln, which means he's going to be back against Brighton. The two games we have after the game against Lincoln are are must wins. Brighton and Benfica, and then we are up against Liverpool. Right now, it's not even going to be good if Chelsea lose against Liverpool. So I don't even want to talk about the Liverpool game because that's still like 2 weeks away from now. We need to be serious and we need to win the game against Brighton. We'll start off with Lincoln, and I hope that Garnacho and Gittins get to play. You rest Estevao because Estevao is going to be needed if Palmer is going to be out for, we don't know how long he's going to need to recover and get fit again. And then we have to travel to face Benfica. We welcome Benfica to the bridge. So that's all for now. Let me know what you guys think about everything that has been said. And until we meet again in my preview against Lincoln, it's Chelsea first and rivals next. That reminds me. Did you guys watch the game between Arsenal versus Man City? That was a classic. For some reason, I don't care if I wanted Man City. I like the fact that the game ends in a tie. Gives Chelsea some ground, enough ground to cover. If Chelsea can manage to win against Brighton, then we'll be taking baby steps again to close the gap. Yeah, that was one classic game, and it feels like Haaland is starting to find the confidence that he had earlier last season, and keep an eye on Doku too. Jeremy Doku looks like he's up to something. So until we meet again, it's Chelsea first, rivals next. Peace.